Good afternoon. Now I'm going to have a live interview, right? And this is actual interview. So this is a Java interview. Let's go through the interview. Let's attend the interview process. And don't tell me. So I will not tell you the client name or any other details because of confidentiality. But we will let you, once you have an interview, we will discuss with you what are the question asked by that company. And I want you to also record your interview and share with me, okay, so that we can help each other get a job and crack interview. Okay, let me just waiting to be let in. So it's important when you're giving an interview that you understand the question carefully. It's always better to have a notepad in your hand. Right? If possible, you can have some notes around you, but obviously it's a face expression. You should be it's better like you note down what they're asking. That way it gives a better answer. If the calculations, it's always better if you write it down and do those stuff. Hi.
Hi, Praveen.
Hey, how are you?
Yes, just waiting for one of my colleagues to join the call as well.
No problem. So you're based in UK?
Sorry, yeah, it's based in UK.
Okay.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, UK, Bracknell.
Oh, just give me a couple of minutes.
Yeah, take your time. No hurry. So let me see the resume. Okay, here you go. So you're with the same project or you have a different project?
No, it's the same kind of a project, but we're leading multiple teams, basically.
Okay.
I think she's joining in a bit. Let me start process. So the format of the interview, basically, I'm going to introduce myself, give a bit of a background of the project, and a brief about her as well. I think
I think you've covered most of it, so we should just start off with Praveen.
Yeah, Praveen, you can introduce yourself and take us.
Yeah, so basically I'm a Java developer and some full stack as well. Like I've done also Angular, React front end stuff. Mostly worked on earlier was to work on web services, Java core thing, and off recently like I can say last 5 years mostly microservices based architecture, SpringBoot. I've done even some Node and auto code generation using JSON server or Liferay microservice generator. I've worked on top clients, as you can see. So last of some of the top clients, top banks and top government agencies, as well as top insurance companies. Last project was with Core Filing. Core Filing is an insurance, not insurance, but a tax filing software provider. It's a big software provider for UK as well as European market. So in that project, it was existing software. Like Core Filing is not a new company. It has been doing this tax filing for a while now. So what they were facing, the problem was that they wanted home office obviously had a lot of surge of filing because of COVID. A lot of new changes were being introduced because of COVID. So they needed to basically accept new kind of payment, but without changing the infrastructure. They didn't wanted to add any more infrastructure money. So we had a goal of improving the scalability without even touching the server. So what we did was, so we came up with a new architecture pattern where instead of putting your file directly like whatever tax file is goes like a file, instead of just filing it directly to the main server, it comes to our holding server, which verifies your tax returns first, like before even submitting to server. And if there's an error, they display in the web browser like, hey, you got error with red, yellow and green, and we start loading like a microservice architecture, like from page 1. So if there's an error in page 1, we will within 1 second we will give you the error message, so that you can start working on it. Even though the file may be 5 megabytes, you start working on it literally immediately the moment you submit the file to us, because we stream the file and we start processing it right away. So that was Core Filing. So we managed to improve scalability almost like 19. Like now the server could handle 10 times more rows, because most of the error were upfront caught by the applications. Before that, I worked for MOD, Ministry of Defense. Unfortunately, I cannot talk about that project because it's a nation security. So basically that project took UK security to 22nd century. Forgot not about this guy. Before that, Ministry of Defense, it was Core Filing again. It's the same guy. We worked on Vibrant. Vibrant is again a very unique opportunity. It came at the midst of COVID, right? And a Vibrant company deals with, all this check-ins and checkouts and energy efficiency, like all related to home, home, you're managing your home. And the way it works in UK without Vibrant is that, there are inspectors who does this inspecting or check-in officers, and you have to manually book them, right? Either the agency does the booking for you, and usually it's 1 gig and they have a quite a lull period. They travel far and wide for the client, because it's not like us contractor, right? Who does a big contract for 3 months. They do contract only for 1 hour and they get paid only for 1 hour the way, and most of the time they were sitting idle. So result was this: inspectors were charging a lot of money to cover the cost. They were traveling a lot, they were doing less work, and obviously homeowners were renters were paying a lot more money, because obviously somebody has to pay. So plus with COVID coming in, it became a lot more difficult to manage expenses. So what Vibrant came up with is automatic method of booking client with the right inspector. The inspector could say join Vibrant as like an independent contractor, but they can say you can manage my calendar. So instead of getting 2 booking a day, we managed to get them 6 or 8 booking, and we managed to reduce the time. Like we use very good logic to find where you are and minimize your travel time and match you with the right client at the right point, so that you go from point A to point B, point to C in the same area. So that was the whole point of this. And of course it uses your address, the address where you were on the 3rd point. Like it's like you can think it's like a delivery. But so as you're moving, your locations are changing, and the system knows that, hey, at 3 p.m. you are at address B, so they will find something near address B. At 4 p.m. you are at address C, and they will find something near C, and that's how it went along. And we pre-booked inspector almost 2 months advance. Like earlier they were struggling to get appointment, but now we had so much appointment because we reduced the prices for clients, so which means more clients were coming to us because they were getting a deal. More inspectors were coming to us because we were promising them, hey, we could book you. And Vibrant was even hiring them full time. If you wanted to work for Vibrant full time, that was also an option. Like you don't have to do hourly gig. So that was, I can continue going the list of project if you want. Before that, I was working for CGI, UK government. It involved military, navy, all the top organizations. Unfortunately, it's again a super secret project. Again, that was not for defense, but it was still a very safety project, so which I cannot discuss, and because of the secret.
That's fine. Just going through your projects, it seems like you've been very short time in most of the project.
Yes, especially last COVID period. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, what's the reason behind it?
COVID, because 31st was my last stable project with CGI, right? UK government. Thereafter, I went work for Vibrant, and I knew the impact of COVID. Nobody else knew that time. In fact, I was the guy who published this, like, this COVID is going to kill a lot of people. And so I didn't wanted a gig in London because I know London will be the hot point. And 30th January, actually, I published it. So I didn't wanted any gig in London, even though I was getting long-term gig. I said no, because that time nobody was ready for working from home, you know. Before company allowed you to work from home, it was April or May. It was too late. But I knew on January 23rd that, hey, this is going to kill people, you know. So I said, no, I'm not getting any call. So I got a contract for Vibrant, right? That was in a village. It was a village in a Bristol. I looked at the location and then only I said, yes, I will work for it. Even though it was a short-term gig, at least it was in a village. I will not get infected. And that's why, and obviously because of COVID, core filing a small project, I accepted it. Like, I need to get, I'm a contractor. Whatever. I have to work with COVID restriction. I have to work with illiterate population. Like, you know, managers who doesn't understand that COVID will kill people, you know. And I still have to make money. I'm not a permanent guy. Like, I can go and leave and get money. So I have to work any project. And that's why I was working on any project I was getting, provided that it met my condition. Like, yes, it has to be either in a village, right? It has to be village or it has to be home-based. And there's not many gig at, like, you know, talking January time. Nobody agreed to you. You know, COVID is not, it will go away. You know, nobody's, oh, you are just imagining things, you know.
So you working remotely now, right?
Yeah, it's almost, you guys remote, right? Till at least, if I'm vaccinated, I'll work remotely, you know.
You vaccinated? Okay.
No, so till I get vaccinated, I'm saying.
Oh, all right.
Because it's a high risk disease, you know, especially the new variant is very, very dangerous because it's spreading 70% more, which means we don't know the kill rate. But I'm thinking the kill rate will be 300% more than the previous versions.
Sure. Okay. I think let's go back to the actual stuff.
Sorry, I was on mute actually. Can we go back to your last project, and if you want to explain what you've been doing?
So yeah,
core primarily looks like LifeRay, right?
Yeah, it's like LifeRay front end. So LifeRay front end.
Yeah. So what's your experience with like Java or Spring type of microservices?
So the services we wrote for this project, the LifeRay is a front end, but it's mostly a back end heavy applications. So we were writing all these microservices which were talking to the existing server to expose their data file page by page. Like they had a monolith service, big service, which was no good for us because when you make a web-facing application like LifeRay, you want instant response. So this was, every page was having so we divided the one big monolith service to almost like 38 microservices. So we had 38 services to cater for each pages. You're still in mute.
So what was your role in this? You're saying you divided monolithic into, were you involved in going towards the microservices route, or? Yeah, in fact that was my suggestion. Yeah, so it was so if you see core filing as such, it's a big tax filing organization. Most of what they do is Java grunt work, you know. They take a file and write million lines of code and do all the tax filing in one go. But this is not going to work. So we wanted an application which is user centric. So for that we have to think like a user. Like, what does user need? Page 1, what does user need in that page 1? What does user need in page 2? And sometimes we needed, some of the services were already written. So some of the service could have been reused, but most of the services, like we reused probably, you can say, 20 new existing services, like, you know, the OAuth and other stuff. But 38 new services we had to write, like design. First of all, we had to design why we needed the services, convince the business that, hey, we needed these services, then talk to the front end guys, hey, this is, you know, a Swagger spec. We published this in a Swagger spec. So we published the Swagger spec so that, you know, the front end team knew what we were doing, and then marry the whole thing. And being a LifeRay expert, I was basically involved in the marrying of front end, back end, and designing the microservices in SpringBoot. Right. So how did you ensure the security of these microservices?
So if you know LifeRay, right? LifeRay provides, so it's an existing SSO, you can say that. You know, so we need an authentication token before you can make the call.
So what kind of authentication?
It was LifeRay inbuilt mechanism, you know. You need an authentication token, and once we come, yeah. So it basically the services were protected. You can say that, you know. It's like a firewall. The security was handled by Liferay in this case, yeah. But I have done in other architecture where you could take a password and verify the user ID or do any of the usual method of verification. You can even do Twitter auth or Facebook auth, whatever you like. Everything is possible.
Okay, Apu, do you have any questions?
Not really. Have you just a couple of things basically. Have you worked in a multi-supply environment before?
Multi-supply means where there are multiple vendor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you see, I think earlier when I was working for IBM, it was usually multiple because IBM is never the primary supplier. It means they always have Accenture Info, other company who is a secondary support. We were the primary. We developed the application and we went away. So I have worked, at OS.
Okay. And did you have any experience of like sharing repos with other suppliers, and like you have to like say a supplier builds some functionality that you are not fully aware of from the beginning? How do you actually go about learning it and then actually make changes on it?
Yeah, so the way I go is, first of all, we read the documentation. So if there's a software, let's just see, it's just like existing software. So we follow the documentation and we try to run it locally, right? Or if there's a development environment, we run in development. And that's the first test. Say one day we spend on making it run. And once it's running, then we start looking at the functionality. We look at it, some ticket or something, and also go about if there's an overview business analyst document or requirement document, because that really help. Sometimes we go for a demo, right? The application may have a demo already done by testing team, or I may just go to the testing team, say, hey, can you give me a demo of 15 minutes how the application works? Do not show me the code, show me how it works. So we marry what is shown in because if you understand the business, it's quite easy to understand the code. Because if you go to the code, you will be lost. There'll be 500 files and you have no freaking idea where it goes and why it goes. But if you understand the business requirement, so if for a new project, I especially like to understand a half an hour, a quick overview of the application, because that helps me a lot to makes my mind ready how to look and where to look. And then if once I get the starting point of the application, now I know, hey, this should talk to accounting department, this should go to this verification, then you go to this page, and then you have 100 other functionalities, which is similar, That's how I go about it. And every application is different. Not every application follow the same pattern, but that's how I get started,
Okay. I think Aditi, I'm done. Pardon, do you have any question for us?
Yeah, so you were saying this is a brand new team. So when is this project supposed to start, or is it going to start right away?
Well, basically, this project is already up and running, right? So our Accenture team has been there for a couple of years. Now we get a pipeline of work. So every January we get a new pipeline of work.
Okay.
And basically, the start is as soon as possible.
Okay.
So we are hiring people. We're trying to build another Scrum team as soon as possible to actually pick up a new piece of work.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be expected to work on it. Yep, sounds good. Thank you. No other questions.
Okay. We'll we are interviewing a couple of other peoples, and we'll get back to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for nice talking to you guys. Bye.
Bye.
So you saw, right? How did we handle it, right? So you have to basically, when they ask you about something, right, you have to talk about your project a lot, so that they don't have much time. This interview was scheduled, and you have to talk a lot. And of course, there was nothing. They didn't throw me off anything. So this is, but it's a dicey. You don't know what was happening here. It's pretty dicey, you can't say, but at least I'm happy that that's your point, the confidence level, that's what is required, because I'll let you know the outcome. If you are a part of our program, I will let you know how this interview, whether I was selected or not selected, I will let you know. But it's not about, right, it's real interview with real people. Of course, not many people can afford my rate. And so when we come to rate, not many people can afford us. But I hope you understand the secret, right? So what are the question asks? Like I will delete the, I will basically make a separate video, cut it out the video about their information, because as I said, I don't like to share information about my clients on their names. So unless of course you are interviewing for that client, it's a different aspect, because I'm helping you to, you're already being, so it's okay to know about that project in that aspect. Otherwise, knowing a new company ABC for no reason, what is the way they work, doesn't give you any advantage. It only gives you advantage if you are going to interview that company. Then that way they know, oh, he guys knows a lot. This is how I work. So I wish you all the best. It's all about preparation, hard work. Cracking interview is not difficult. Okay. All the best. And don't forget to subscribe, right? We have a program, pretty UK, we have a £100 per month program, and in India we have a 1,000 rupees per month program. So depending on where you are based, the rest of the world basically, you should join our monthly program, because we will help you. It's not about just cracking the gist, it is also about sustaining the job. It's a lot of things, you know, you need to be the expert, and we are the expert company. We work with the top end clients and companies, and we take a lot of interviews. Okay, talk to you later, and any question, just write the comment. Let's get your job soon. You will get it, man, you will get it. Thank you, bye.